Today, I showered for the second day in a row. I didn't wash my hair because the shampoo I have keeps it pretty clean. But I noticed that by being in the shower, I kind of downloaded a song, and I don't have the skills to make it a song, or even the skills to sort of translate what I hear in my head into the exact melody or tune, or even know if that's the best way that it should be in a song. But it was something like, it would be nice if you tell me I'm beautiful. It would be nice if you tell me I'm great. It would be nice if you tell me I'm magical. Now that I've said it, it's too little too late. And then it can go like, it's too late, and like up and late, or whatever. And then music in the background, like sort of, it could be electronic or it could be country or something. So yeah, it's nice to have like a little bit of creativity come back to me in terms of that, instead of this constant need to prove that there's this creative energy. And being creative, one doesn't even necessarily have to identify with being bipolar. And creating songs or like ideas for songs or music lyrics could be more fun than this whole movement of, trying to explain or trying to fix the bipolar disorder part. It could be good to going into what the capacities of that are, because I started to talk about the Time magazine article yesterday where there's a high association between bipolar and creativity. And then there was one quote that struck me that was people who are writers are 10 times more likely to have the most severe form of bipolar disorder. So by writing, and then not only writing, but writing a lot about bipolar, or about sort of those insights that one can tap into when one is writing and sort of channeling from the mind. And those insights, like, they don't really get to go anywhere. And I feel like I shouldn't necessarily write them down, but if it's not something shareable, then ignore it. I'm just trying to find out how not to get so like uppity and then fall so down. And I've talked about stopping talking about bipolar, and I feel like I just want to like utilize some of the strengths of it and stop talking about it, not creating something about bipolar, maybe. So yesterday I launched the Synchronicity website, and it's launched as kind of like a social project, but I'm thinking maybe I'll use it as like creativity consulting or something. And I did share a first few conversations about, bipolar. But the whole point of the whole process for me was to learn about how to take care of myself. And I think between the vitamins, which are a good gesture of health and nutrition for the body, and even though I'm not eating the best diet right now, it's like Lucky Charms and pierogies. Just taking the vitamins has helped, I think. So keeping up that gesture, showering in the morning, which I just realized it gives access to a certain creativity, which is already known. Like, people get ideas in the shower, so I could get song ideas in the shower. And if I get enough, then maybe it could be a reason to learn music production. And possibly, I don't know. And yeah, so there's got to be something that can create something good. And not talking about the self of bipolar, or how there's no self. So it's like talking from a self about how there is no self. And yeah, I'm not sure what else. The rest is in my notebooks, which I can talk about, and I will share the game of 427 that I created for myself, and just see if I can sort of finish up that line of thinking. I started to flip through some books, just to flip through, to be like, okay, I'm going to flip through books to, because I think I kind of absorb it just by seeing the pages. Like, what you observe is powerful if you are in a state of attention. And so I flipped through R.D. Laing's book, The Divided Self, and I realized that I'm just like really like self-conscious right now. And I think the creativity takes that away a little bit. But then there's this scary thing of going into too much creativity could cause a fall back into the self. I'm not sure. It's just sort of coming back online a little bit. And yeah, I'll go look at that stuff and see what I can create. Yeah. I created a quote the other day. It came to mind. Friendship is the greatest technology. And I also flipped through the book Kinship with All Life, and it mentioned the voice of existence in the chapter about befriending a fly, and I've befriended flies before, for sure. And I was flipping through this book, The Great Simulator, and it was interesting because it talked about how when you breathe, the purpose is to convert your physical energy stores into movement and airborne carbon. And I remember talking with myself about this, about how like talking, like some energy comes out with the breath. So it kind of affirmed that. So I feel like, you know, a lot of what I've talked about with myself is already in books somewhere. Like, I have a pretty good bookshelf of books there. And yeah, reading books kind of creates space, you know, between the person, like between people. And and it also said you eat carbon and then convert it into physical energy by breathing it out. So talking does get rid of carbon in a different way, in a way of talking. So yeah, I don't know. Yeah, so on my Synchronicity site, I sort of created the idea of listening to other people's ideas, because I've sort of like seen possible futures. So it makes sense that if I listen to somebody's idea and I've sort of gone into the future, that will resonate with that future energy and help to bring that into being for that person. I really don't know, but who knows what's possible, right? And also, I feel like sometimes if we sort of stare into each other's eyes, we can like pass on gifts and help to allow a person's gifts to start to flower. So so that was one thing that I thought I could do. And yeah, just sort of going with the gifts of mania, or like this higher energy in a creative way, and stopping the movement of needing to prove the creativity or the link, or that, or like uplift from the stigma of bipolar or something. Just start creating. So there was another quote in this Time magazine thing, and it said, oh, here it is. I flipped right to it, of course. Vision without execution is hallucination. So a lot of this is like what I've talked about with myself is vision, and none of it has been really executed. So it's kind of just all hallucination, but maybe some of it could come into existence. And yeah, so I need to figure something out in terms of utilizing the creativity. So yeah, now I have a website called Synchronicity. If you need any help with like rhymes or poetry or making up words or research into bipolar or vitamins or anything, let me know, because I keep doing this for myself and proving it to myself, but needing to start reaching out. And I also thought of an idea to create an app for people like us to, if we have an idea, we can just put it in. Well, that could be Basecamp, but another idea would be, if we think we have these like brilliant insights and ideas, we start typing them into the app and it'll tell us that, 1,000 people have already written that. And, that could be something like a Reddit, but instead of it being based on people up-liking it, it would be based on how many people have said that same thing, and then the AI puts the ones that are said the most at the top, or maybe at the bottom, because maybe those are the most dilute. And and then I was thinking of putting the projects that I have like the ideas that I've had on the Synchronicity, and then having people try to create some of them or something. And how do we make creativity in this way less deadly? I don't know. I'm just glad that this creativity came back a little bit, and I'm feeling a little bit better. I changed right and wrong to light and long, and yeah, and I wrote down that we don't really have any like higher social role, except people who have managed to work in jobs. And yeah, I'm not sure what else. So then the 427 project is something a little different.